evening, everybody. Yeah,
How are you?
I'm very good.
Good.
Very good. How
You're
are
looking
you?
very beautiful.
Oh, it's very sweet. Thank you.
So I'm
Bit
going
jet
to
lagged.
start with, normally at Startup Grind, we start from way back, from where you were born. You were born in Soweto. How was life growing up in Soweto?
Well, I think for anybody who grew up in Soweto will tell you life has always been good. Can you guys hear me? Because I can't hear me. Can you hear me? Yeah, that's good. That's better. Anyway, so grew up in Soweto, and perfect family. 6 of us, mom and dad, 4 siblings, and I think growing up in Soweto, studied in public schools till standard 5, and got straight A's at school. So was one of the few people chosen to start a private school in Jabulani, I think at the time, called
Okay.
Pace Commercial College. Anybody
right.
know about Pace? The short version is the only first private school that was started by the American Chamber of Commerce. I think I
Wow.
get a lot of people asking me, so how did you start? I'm an accountant, obviously, by
Yes.
profession,
Yes.
and graduated from Rhodes with accounting, tutored accounts at Rhodes. But
Wow.
everybody asks, how did you decide that you want to be
To
an
study
accountant
accounting, yeah.
and study accounting? Well, Pace Commercial College, as you know, was an accounting commercial school, so I was probably channeled into it. But I was very good in accounting and maths, so
Oh,
it worked
wow.
out.
That's amazing.
100% each. I'm proud of that. I always say to kids, you must study hard, because if you
Yes.
show up while you're at school, at least you quickly can be able to find out your God-given talents, and it's easy to follow from there,
No,
Yeah.
absolutely. And I want to touch a little bit about your modeling career. When did modeling start for you? You still got it, by the way.
Oh, that
it's
is
so
so
cool.
nice. Anyway,
Yeah.
so I'm sure you know, if you've read any of my stories, that our parents, obviously, after school, used to take us to go and sell stuff and soft goods in the streets, etc., to be able to augment
Yes.
the family income. But I think when I turned about 16, I was woken up to the fact that you don't have to be slaving, walking up and down the streets. There's
Yes,
another side that you can be able to make some money. And I first was scouted, and people thought I was good for beauty pageants. Then I started. Then I pulled in Bussy way later.
Yes.
And then, I think a lot of my mother's furniture and the first crystal glasses we ever got were all gifts from
From
a
the
beauty
prizes.
pageant. Even my first car I wanted at a beauty pageant.
Wow.
And then from there, while I was still at Rhodes, I would do modeling as well concurrently, and did everything, in modeling. But I was always set, and I always knew that, the good looks don't last. You need to be able to have something solid to fall back on.
And at what point did you realize that you actually need to transition from being the model to actually focusing on, obviously when you got into studying accounting and taking it seriously and taking your schoolwork seriously? I don't want to get into the business side of things now. I want to talk about that.
The other person.
First. Yeah.
No, I think we had a very strict mother. Our mother was a school teacher, so she didn't suffer fools. I don't think I had an opportunity to be anything else but an academic and, graduate at a decent university and had a solid degree. She also didn't want me to be able to have a Bachelor of Arts. She says, what are you going to do with that?
Yes.
You're very good in accounting and maths. You need to be able to be channeling your way through that. So grateful for that. But I think, obviously, because of the fact that she knew that I was very good on the modeling side and the pageant side, she decided when the bursaries came up that I shouldn't study at Wits because I would be distracted with the other life. So she bundled me all the way to
Far away
Grahamstown.
from
There
the
was
lights and
nothing. In
cameras.
my years, I graduated in 92 in Grahamstown. There was nothing that happened in that town. There was... there's still only the one street, but there was no movies. When you came out of university trying to catch up a movie everybody's talking about in Joburg, they had nothing. One movie house, meaning one room.
Yes. Yeah.
So it didn't have options. But it was good. I think I'm glad that I went in that confined environment, because I think it helped me to accelerate very quickly.
Yes, and then after after varsity, you
Went to
did your
do my
articles
articles at KPMG.
KPMG.
Oh my God.
I also didn't want to mention that.
I know, right? At least at the time, they were not called KPMG. They were
so
called Aiken
reputable.
and Beat, some
Yes.
strange name. Yeah, sadly. Oh, really? The people make us look bad.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I didn't say that. Yeah,
can just
so,
edit as
you
you
know,
did to
so
us,
I did
Christopher.
that, KPMG, and then obviously when I was at KPMG still doing my articles, I used to get headhunted. You know, I was doing also continuity presenting on Mnet, so I had some sort of a public profile. So
Okay, so you were
people,
headhunted to come back into the media industry?
no,
Or,
headhunted to come and work for some big corporates.
oh, okay, all right.
And then I realized, you know, every second week, my package of the people who were headhunting me would double, and I thought to myself, yo, there's value in me, Mus.
Yes.
Young accountant, black female, you know,
Yeah,
you're the
plus at
buzz
that
of the
time-
moment, you know.
Yeah, plus at that time, there were not a lot of young black
True.
females in
True.
that industry,
True.
hey?
So I decided, no, I think if there's value in me, then I need to go and harness that value for my good self. And from that day on, I've never been employed a day in my life.
Wow.
I've been an entrepreneur for the last umpteenth years. Yeah.
What was your first entrepreneurial endeavor? Was it travel with Flair, or did you
No,
start with
so
something
I
else?
started actually in, I had an events and communications business.
Okay.
And from there, I met my current partners. You know, I must be a good partner because I say I'm still keeping my people 20 odd years on. I've not fired them just yet.
Yeah.
And obviously, I had a communications one, had an office in Santino. I was doing quite well.
Okay.
And then the travel opportunity came, and I always say travel found me, you know. And I realized that I anyway was working hard because I used to read a lot, and I realized that there's bigger world out there, that I'm going to be able to save enough money so that I can see the world. Then I found out that you can actually be able to see the world and have a business while seeing the world, because, you know, you can have a business in travel, and as simple as
Absolutely.
that. Till
Yeah.
today, I'm still doing that, and I always say I'm working my passion. I love what I do.
Nice. And the
Yeah.
foundation of travel with Flair. How did it all start? Was it your baby, or did you
Yeah.
come? So it was
Yeah,
your
I mean,
baby,
it
and
was.
then you brought on your
I think it was
partners
a
along?
joint effort because we hadn't incorporated anything. You know, like everybody, you come and sit around the table and say,
Yes.
you know, we could be able to start this business. So, and then it's always nice as well when you negotiate shares when there's no money on the table. You know,
Yes.
right? Exactly.
Where
so
you're
you
working
take that big
around
cut.
your skills. Oh, you can do
Correct.
this, I can
yeah,
do
and then I
this,
say you can
let's-
do this, we can do that, you know,
Yeah.
and we had obviously diversified skills around the table. We go and register our PTY, of course. I know how to negotiate. They didn't see me coming. I'm an accountant, so I take my slice, and they're all happy to be able to give me my slice.
Yeah.
But I think the difference is that I work hard.
Yes.
So the worst thing, and I think that's a lot of times why business partnerships fail, you feel like you're carrying everybody else. You feel like you're the only rainmaker, and that's not good, and that could never be good. So
Yes.
everybody pulls the same way. And if I feel that you're getting lethargic in the energy that you put in the business, I'm the first person to slap you right back to it. So,
Yeah.
that's how we started. We started it in 1996. As I said, 3 employees in Pretoria,
Pretoria.
one little office, and today, I mean, we've surpassed the 700 mark. I think I've got about 800 employees, and the hard work is real, and it
Yes.
doesn't stop, by the way.
Yes, yes,
The
yes.
bigger you become, the other challenges come in that obviously require your attention, and you have to be even more focused and work even harder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then also, what are some of the surprises that you realized when you got into the travel industry? Because I'm sure, I mean, sometimes we get into industries, and then while we're in, we realize that, oh crap, this doesn't work the way I thought it would.
Okay. I think maybe just to walk you through my earlier journeys, because a lot of entrepreneurs, I think, go through similar hiccups and
Challenges, yeah.
challenges. And I've always said that the downfall of any entrepreneur that didn't make it is the lack of patience. People are impatient. They want things to be able to work now. They
Yes.
want things immediate. You know, I grew up when there was no microwaves. So just to walk you through it,
Really?
when you had to be able to cook a chicken, you took 2 hours, you were basting that thing, rolling it upside down. Now you pop it in, 15, 20 minutes, it's all cooked, you know,
Yes.
ready to go.
Yeah.
And I do think, sadly, with entrepreneurship as well of the young ones, they want also the same quick fix, and it doesn't work like that. Business really needs you to be more
patient.
patient, to be more focused, to refine your craft,
Yes.
understand what you are offering, and you need to be able to be solving a need
Yes.
with what you want. It can't be what makes me happy. I'm not selling to me. It needs to be looking into your audience, looking into your customers and saying, what need am I providing? And there's obviously 10 other people providing the same thing. What is the differentiator with you? And that kind of service excellence should be there. That kind of constant contact with your customers. People don't want to give you a big contract and then you are disappearing. Oh, we saw Johanna present, but where is she? It's a year later, we have not seen her. Do you understand what I'm saying? So you need to be able to understand that. And obviously in the beginning, you are qualified, or at least I was qualified, but I have to pay everybody else except me. A couple of years ago, you still don't have the money. Your parents are looking at you. They're still in Soweto. You are not taking them out of Soweto. You feel me?
Go back to school.
And then the parents are like, what is she up?
Yeah.
I mean, you're telling us everybody's wanting you. Why are you not going with the people? I say, I believe in my craft. I know I can be able to make it, And I think the biggest challenge is when your lights look like they're about to get switched off, because the money is not coming in. You're pitching to everybody in town, and you're not landing that pitch. And you want to know, what is it that I'm not doing right? And the one advice I always give, you are allowed to go back, even if it's a job interview. If you didn't get it, you need to go back to the people and ask, why did I... There's a difference, right? Don't kill the people. You're asking for feedback. How is it that I didn't make it?
Yes.
Ask for the feedback and find out what are your areas of improvement. And you go back and refine them. And you go back again and do it again tomorrow.
Absolutely.
And even with us, you go pitch. You don't lend the pitch. You go back and find out, which parts did I not meet? And the people will be honest with you.
Yes.
It's the systems, maybe the capacity. They have a problem with your capacity. They don't think you can handle such a big... You go back and you refine yourself.
Absolutely,
and let me tell you, the first time we landed our first contract, after we've been back to the drawing board, burning the midnight, working till 3 o'clock in the morning, thank God the kids were not there at the time, you are able to finally hone in on your craft and you understand what your target audience is looking for.
Yes.
And then you are opened to the understanding that I need to be fulfilling that need, not be offering them what is in my basket of services, because that could not be, if you're in that, you might not have the balance or the equilibrium with that. So once we got our first contract, we've never looked back. And from there, you gain momentum, you gain the confidence, and you go back and you do it better and better. And obviously with us as well in our industry, the Internet of Things is a true interrupter.
Absolutely,
so you really need to be able to be ahead of the technology of your competitors.
Yes.
You need to continuously reinvent yourself. You can't, at the first big check, go and buy yourself some sports cars and some shoes. Hello, I love some shoes. But that's not that kind of party, You need to continuously reinvest in your business and solidify yourself. Because ultimately, people will always be able to look at sustainability. Nobody can come and give you a big contract if you don't look like you're going to be there tomorrow.
Absolutely, yeah.
And you can't also keep clients if all your suppliers or your industry is complaining that how batalebat. It doesn't work like that.
No, it doesn't work like that. And then let's talk about relationship building. At an early stage, how are you keeping potential clients? How are you keeping the people that you've wanted to work with for a longer period of time? Because a lot of people would be saying, oh, but I'm not connected. I don't know people. There's no one who can help me. How did you do that in the early stages?
Yeah, I'm glad you've asked that, because everybody thinks we woke up and we had this network. It doesn't work. You know what I'm saying? We all started from ground zero. And you need to be able to have the want to harness and nurture relationships. And there's a lot of great relationships I think God has brought my way. And people are always flawed. It doesn't matter where I am in the world. I will reach out and the people will come out to see me. Little old me, and they're big people, and they'll make the time for me. And people say, but you know how to hold relationships. And the one thing that you must always remember, first of all, maybe just speaking about the relationship side before I come back to the business side, is that you must always understand that ultimately, that person is a person before they are this big celebrity. Absolutely. You understand?
Yes.
And you always must come from that position, because they themselves also need authentic people around them. So you don't come from a position of excitement. You come from a position of being just a good leaning platform for them and just being a great friend. You know, you don't ask people things at first sight. You know, people are always, and I always say, you are making the people run away. You know, people do business with people they like.
Absolutely,
So
yeah.
once you have crossed over that hurdle and they say, Johanna is really great. She's a decent human being. We like Johanna.
Yeah.
So they open their baskets of gifts and benefits and connectivity.
Yeah.
And you understand? But you can't be saying, hey, I've got so-and-so here. My brother, you know, I've got this project, what. You got projects coming out of the under the table.
Yes.
You'll be chasing the people away, you know?
Yeah.
So harness the goodness, harness the connectivity. Even Chinese people, when they want to do business with you, they don't want you to be able to dazzle them with a big presentation. They want to take you out to dinner. They want to meet your family. They want to
Yes.
see your kids.
Like
they
those proper relationships,
and they
that's-
they want to be able to know the human side of you.
Yeah.
And once they are comfortable with who you are, the real person, in there comes the opportunity for the
Absolutely,
greater things.
yes.
So going back to our customers as well, I've always said, I want to own the relationships, especially of my top 20 customers. You understand? Big corporates I'm talking about.
Yes.
So I don't want my salespeople to be my rock stars when they go to my customers. Yes, of course they look after my customers, but nobody can be able to look after them as good as I do.
Absolutely, yeah.
Even today, people say, you're still answering phones at 11 o'clock. If some flight is canceled somewhere in the world, some big person calls me here, Johanna, I can't even phone you after hour. I need you to be able to help me. I make it happen. Don't worry. I'm always at your service. Boom, boom, boom. Talk to my after hour. Make sure the person calls that person back. I call back the person. I say, are you sorted? He says, you are amazing. Thank
And
you. Do
people
you understand
love
what I'm
that
saying?
Human, you know that human interaction
Correct.
as well.
No, but more importantly, they get a sense that you value their
Absolutely,
business.
yes,
You value the
yes,
business.
yes.
And there's nothing in life that makes the business come back to you
Mm-hmm.
when they have 5 other competitors sitting in front of them and you already have the relations. They say, but you know, Johanna understands our business intimately and she values our business. We can reach her. You know, she's not sitting in her glass tower there and she's unreachable. It doesn't work that way.
No.
Also, the quarterly reviews, I do myself. I'll go with my team. But I will know everything about your business. I will know everything about your stats. And I will know about all your major VIP travelers. And I will go in and I will share. And let me tell you, nobody knows the travel industry like I do. I study it like I'm about to write a master's
Wow.
degree.
Wow.
That's how you should be. If you
Yes.
walk into the room, be an expert. If you
Absolutely.
decided to do something, do it better than anybody else
Yes,
in the
yes,
room.
yes.
There comes in the success. Yeah.
And then now let's talk about employees. How do you bring in people into your company? Because I know you value your employees. I've listened to an interview of yours that you've done, and you said you value your employees
Yeah.
more than anything else because
True.
they are the ones that are keeping the company what it is.
True.
How do you identify that this is the right person to bring into my company?
I think obviously, you know, when you start a business, you have certain business values that you embody, and you want anybody walking into the room that's going to work with you to embody the same.
Yes.
And especially much earlier in my business, I used to show up in my boardroom to interview the people. I still today, though, interview the managers because I
Okay.
need to be able to ensure that those people who are looking after my bigger folk
Yes.
need to have similar values. And let me tell you, if I ask anybody in the travel industry, they will tell you, Travel with Flair, our company has the highest staff retention. People stay with me, even the ones, obviously, that I want to go. How about some? People don't go, they stay. But
Yeah.
we really look after our staff.
Yes.
And I've said as well, people need to be 10 times better people when they're in your business than the ones that walked in the first day. I have a lot of young entrepreneurs that I mentor, and they say, yeah, but Johanna, if we train the people leave, and you've already spent this money on them. And I say, think about it. If you don't train those people, and they're sitting 5 years in your business, same person with the same thinking, when the technology has moved so far ahead, and is still thinking the way they do 5 years, it's a
They'll
disaster.
cripple the company.
But more important, let me tell you, if the people feel like they're growing within your organization, that they feel that they get empowered. I say, if you can think it, I'm here to be able to do it for you. I studied through university, through bursaries, and I'm in it for anybody to win. I always believe if you're brought through my door, I'm the one who's supposed to make sure that you become a better person because you're under my watch. You can be sitting in my accounts division, but you want to be an expert in IT. I do that. I said, okay, so you tell me, what do you want to be? Where is your dream? And I come from a position of strength, not of fear.
Yes.
And the people stay. They get whatever they do, and they will tell you, speak to any of my employees, they will tell you. And I always come as well from a servant leader. You are what you are because of the people that are in your business. And you have to lead by example.
Absolutely,
Treat
yes.
everybody the same. You'll tell you, my tea ladies, my drivers, treat me, and I treat them as good as I treat my top managers. And because of that, let me tell you, the managers, because they see you acting that way, they themselves do the same and are brought down to book. And they respect you more.
Absolutely,
because they can see that you are fair and you treat everybody the same. There is so much power and gift in being fair and kind as a boss.
Absolutely. And
At
know
least
you
I
do
live
get-
with it.
I agree as well. And I know you do get involved with your sister as well in a lot of mentorship
Sure.
programs where you mentor young women. You are literally that leader that a lot of young women actually look up to you. What have you learned about leadership and mentorship in terms of shaping the entrepreneurial ecosystem, especially with what is happening in our country? There's not a lot of inspirational women, and only a few are doing what you are doing. And what can you say about it?
When I was growing up, obviously, in the township, we had the likes of the late Marina Maponya. I used to drive past Maponya Mall when not drive past, but I was in a bus going to school. You know what I'm saying?
It's driving past.
It is
Yeah,
driving
it's not
past, but I'm
walking.
not in the car. I've been driven in the bus.
Yes.
And you see this, and you had, the guys that used to own here. We had these tangible, real entrepreneurs in the township, but they lived in the township. They had the big house in the township.
Wow.
And obviously, with the new democracy and the new South Africa, unfortunately, the ones that are successful
They
have
leave.
left the township,
To go to
which
the
is
suburbs.
you feel. So, and then we have very high walls as well, so nobody can say hello.
You can't reach them. Stop
But what
nonsense,
I'm
that's
saying
what they
is this,
used to call
that
it.
we saw those entrepreneurs in the township, and we had something to aspire to. And now with the democracy, there's nobody left in the township
To
that the
look up
people can
to.
be able to look up to. So it is
Yes.
our responsibility to go back and be able to inspire those kids, because we come from that background.
Absolutely.
I've always said, your background should never define what you eventually can become. If you can think it, you can do it. And I want those kids to be able to know, and that's why I do what I do. I speak a lot, but it's not because I like to speak a lot. I just told you I've come up, I'm jet lagged,
Yes.
but I'm here. And the thing is this, that the more people see and say, but she has my similar background, and if she can do it, I surely can be able to kick my dust shoes and be able to be something, And the more you speak about how you did it, how you persevered, this and that, people can be able to learn from that, and hopefully we can be, examples by being.
Yes. So, and then now I want to talk about, because you'd hear a lot of people saying, I want you to mentor me. I'm sure you get those emails a
lot.
lot. I want you to mentor me. How do you identify that this person is the right mentee?
Yeah.
Because some people, perhaps, they just want to get closer to you.
I
They just
know.
want to have pictures with you on
Others
Instagram.
want to say hello. I say
Yeah,
hello, really?
Or just I've got a picture with Miss Johanna. How do you then identify that this is the right person to mentor? How do you spot the right person to mentor then?
Yeah, I have one of my mentees here. Maybe she can
Yes.
say no, Agadlal. But I've obviously over the years, having had so much demand, have to refine it. So there's a form you have to fill in, and you
Okay.
have to be able to write your story as well in terms of why you want to become an entrepreneur, what have you done, where your gaps are. I can't be everything to everybody. So I need to also be able to assist you where I think I have the know-how. And I'm a great connector of persons. I think if you ever
Yes.
speak to anybody, I'm not jealous with my contacts, for lack of a
No,
word.
yeah.
Even globally, I will
Wow.
hook you up if you're in something that I don't have the core competence, but I have
You
a
know
fabulous
somebody who
person,
can be able to
correct, that can
take
be
it
able to
over,
link
yeah.
you up. I will link you up so that you can be able to go out and fly. Ultimately, I believe to whom much is given, much is expected, so we cannot be able to hoard it all, because I also want to be able to say, at least because I lived, I've changed X amounts of people's lives. So
yeah.
through that, then you have obviously my own process of going through the, screening the
process of some
mentees,
sort,
correct.
yeah.
And then ultimately I decide, okay, I can only take X amount. And also it has to have a time period as well.
Yes.
There's others that have fallen through the cracks, like somebody who's been a little longer, but at least inspired well, because she runs a great business now. So
Yes.
it's good.
So, family, you're highly successful, you're all over the place, you travel a lot. How do you juggle family and still remaining this successful woman, especially with a lot that you've achieved? You know, you're literally all over. So one would ask, when does this woman have
Sleep.
time to spend time with your family?
More,
with
when
her
do I
family?
have time to sleep, right? No, but I've always said in life, you have to find your balance. And my balance might not be your balance. And you cannot be able to shortchange the one life for the other. I'm born to be an entrepreneur, so I have to thrive as an entrepreneur. And my family understands that. But I love my family. I've been married forever. I've got great two kids. It is forever. We're going on
Okay.
nearly 20 years. But
Wow.
yeah, he still thinks I'm a babe, thank God.
Oh, wow.
Anyway, now we've got two great kids.
Yeah.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, it is possible to be a female entrepreneur, successful on a global scale, but still hold down a good marriage. You know, you don't have to be able to give up the one for the other.
Absolutely,
And,
yes.
and you have to make the time, and I think maybe I'm also married to a great person who's got his own quiet confidence and wants me to be the best version of myself. And my kids as well, I try and be able to get out from work at least by 6 o'clock so I can do the homework with them, find out what's happening at school, because also you need to know the people you're raising in your house, right?
Yes.
And I don't want to be able to get up and have, oh, Joanna's built this thing, and then I don't know my kids.
Yes.
It's not that, because
Yes.
also I'll be unhappy
You want to be there as a
if
mother
that
as well,
happens.
yeah.
And you make the time. If I'm not traveling, I will cook for the husband. You make it all work. But
However best way you
however
can.
best way.
Yes.
I've always said as well, I might not be that mother who goes and bakes the cakes for the school and goes and mends that, you know what I'm saying,
Yeah,
the
or
cake
attend
stand,
every soccer
give it check
match,
it,
yeah.
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But the short version is, I do show up where it counts. I do all my
And when
student
you can as
yeah,
well.
parent-teacher interviews. I'm there, I'm doing homework with my kids. I know who their friends are. I know their strengths, their weaknesses. Very quick thing for any of the busy mothers. This is what I do with my kids. Every single night when I'm there, darling, tell me, what was your highest point today and what was your lowest? Sums it all up, because as kids, you narrow it all down, but
Yeah.
quickly you are able to get a sense as to who's being bullied, who's not being bullied, who's doing well at school, which teacher is being mean, because it all condenses that emotion into one feed. And then why is that? Then you get the story, and what was your high? Oh, you're still good friends with so-and-so. Okay, that's good. I just hung with my friends. Or this was happened. Or, and that is very important. And let me tell you, the one thing that I've never said, since I've had my kids since they could talk, only 2 years old, it doesn't matter where I am in the world. It doesn't matter the time zone. I've prayed every single night with my kids, if I'm there, even
Amazing.
over the phone. Even
That's
Basi
amazing.
tears up. He says, girl, you still do it. But when I get a teenager, I say yes. Because that is something very special between me and them. And I know if God calls him and I'm not there, that's probably one of the things that will stand out in their minds.
Wow. That is amazing. We're going to take a few questions from, shakes. No. Okay. Do you have a question?
Being a?
being an accountant and how you have actually been so successful in a travel industry, how you can maybe share with people how success and education and how you are able to maybe
Match the
translate
Yeah,
two.
yeah.
because it has nothing to do with what you did at school
Yeah,
type of thing.
yeah. You know, I think I think it has, you know, to be an accountant, you stay in one place and you focus. And I do think that comes from it. You know, you focus on something, you do something and you do it well, or you change your antennas and focus on something else. However, I do believe my accounting background has helped me, obviously, to understand the numbers and sustainability of any business. And I think whatever business I would have been in, I would have made it because I understand the importance of the numbers. And I know that I need to be able to continuously reinvest into the business, and nobody squanders the money that we bring through the door. I've got budgeting tools, you know what I'm saying? You watch the pennies, you will stay sustainable and you will continue pushing on. So whether it's travel, whether I could have been in manufacturing, I think that my accounting base has helped me to be able to ensure that I have a sustainable business because the numbers don't escape me.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yes. Charlie, yes. Yes.
Hello, Mr. Mukoki.
Hi, my friend. Very good, thank you. Thank you.
My question is to make sure that is a kind of sound that you need to see one step is what you need to
Mhm.
but it's not sustainable for them to do that. You were very somebody to put that on as a concept, it might not be a
100%. I think, obviously, as I was saying earlier, that I have a form that everybody has to fill in, and you have to be able to write your life story as to why you want my assistance.
Yes.
And through that, of course, you know, I have to be able to call a few references as well, especially if I have to hand it over to other people, because I don't want also my network to be tainted as, oh, she brings rogues through the door, right?
Yeah.
You understand what I'm
Yes.
saying? So
Yeah.
you need to be able to screen that. But I do think when people have gone through the trouble of mapping out what is in their head in terms of their dream, there's very few people who can think that succinctly if they're in it for the wrong reasons, you know? So it's good. And
One question. Are you done?
No, no, yeah.
Yeah. One question that we have from Slido is, if you had to start your business from scratch with a clean slate, what would you do differently from Lindelani?
You know, I'm not, I get asked a different question sometimes that what would you do differently if I had to turn back the clock, you know, with
Yes,
things that
yes.
have happened in your life? And I always believe that we are at the sum of our experiences.
Absolutely, yeah.
And whatever happens to you in life is to be able to strengthen you for the greater purpose. So the struggles, the trials, the tribulations is all because of a greater purpose. And some of the resilience that I have probably emanates from some of the challenges that I have.
Yeah.
Part of the humility that one has in the journey
Yes.
emanates from the fact that I know that it's not easy to be where you are. And you cannot be able to kick the door closed just because you got through the door.
Yes, and
You understand?
somehow
Yeah.
the dots connect, you know.
Absolutely,
You can't
so-
say I'm at the wrong place. When you are there, you literally learn from, if it's not for you, then you learn from it,
Yeah,
you know.
absolutely. So I don't know, maybe I wouldn't sweat so much and stress so much knowing that it was going to work out. Because I
Yes.
think I work too hard and I work too many long hours trying to make sure that the dream doesn't fail. But at least at a young age, I was open to the fact, and it's from reading books, by the way. Please
Yes,
read.
yes,
If there's ever
yes.
anything, especially autobiographies of people that have made it and the ones that have failed, because in there is some nuggets of wisdom. But, you know, the thing of going to ask for feedback, it's powerful. It's simple when you think about it, but it's a powerful thing because it helps you to be a better person tomorrow. to be able to understand where your shortcomings are. And you can only be better if you know which areas that you need to improve in yourself or in your offering. Yeah?
And now, I wish we could chat the whole night. Women in business, women
Yes.
always feel that they are intimidated, they are not respected enough, which in some cases it might be true. Do you think women are intimidated by men in the workplace? And what can be done, if that is true, to shift the paradigm?
I think it comes from the fact that the way women are socialized and in the cultures that we grow, we've been raised in,
Yes.
that, women unfortunately supposed to be subservient. So it's not something that somebody wakes up and they are what they are. A lot of us who were able to break the mold and be confident and stand up and do our thing and, come as an equal more than, worrying about what your gender makeup is. Women need to be aware of their strengths. I always say you need to be able to be an expert in whatever field you're in.
Yes, yes.
And
yes.
if you are a professional in what you do, the confidence comes from there.
And it shows.
And a lot of women are, shy. A lot of women don't want to be forthright. And precisely because I think sometimes you're not so sure because you're going to be shot down. The guys will tell you, that's a non-starter. Or you're trying to talk in a boardroom and it doesn't seem like anybody's talking
listening,
and they're busy
yeah.
talking about, and you're like, please, I need a moment.
Yes.
Nobody needs to give you a moment. You
No,
take your moment, girl.
absolutely,
You know what
yeah.
I'm saying? You have something valuable to add. You take
Say
that
it,
moment and
yeah.
make it happen. But you better make sure that it's good. You don't want to be showing down the goals. Because if you're
Yes.
pulling yourself down, you're putting 10 other goals down with that. So make sure that you come from a position of strength and
An authority,
and
yeah.
authority and confidence that you know your stuff.
Yes,
You understand?
yes, yes.
Yeah, and they'll respect you for it.
Absolutely,
Because
yeah.
after a few times, they say, but Joanna makes a lot of sense. So they forget the fact that you're a woman. They come to you as an expert. And that's how
Absolutely,
you
yeah.
win people over.
Last question, yes.
All right, he's in.
Oh,
She
do
can
you
tell.
have time?
He's been raising, she's there, and I'll take the other one.
Okay.
Then
well,
we're done.
Please keep it short.
Um,
Hi, your name?
my name is Timakazo. How are you?
Hi, I'm Dimakatso. Very good, thanks.
As a woman, and I'm sure there's a lot of women that you have employed in your company.
Sure.
If one of your staff members was to say, I want to start something similar because I've learned from the best,
Yeah?
would you support her or would you just say, no, she just wants to take my business away from me?
That's a good question,
It
actually.
is, yeah.
Nobody's ever asked me that. But I think knowing the person that I am, there's people who have not been employed by me, but have been suppliers in my business that I have helped as well. And they've started travel agents. And even now, I think government requires with the new triple BE thing
Yes.
that you need to give 30% of that business to a black female business should you get a big contract. So I have that and I do it. And you have to be able to come from a position of strength and wanting to be able to improve other people's lives. I have a clear preferential procurement policy within Travel with Flair. And it clearly states, doesn't matter who's sitting at, they know, and they need to find me a black female who's got that service, whether it's a B&B, whether it's a shuttle, it doesn't matter. Stationary, I don't care. Find me a black person, a black female who's doing this. From there, black brother. From there, we scale it down. You feel me? No, I must be honest. That's exactly what it is. Because I don't think I'm here so that I should not be able to improve the greater community.
Yes.
I believe in that. And you ask anybody, they will tell you. And part of maybe the happiness and the contentment I have with the business I have, and probably God continues to bless, is precisely I come with open arms.
Are you answered?
It's empowering. And the pie
Yeah.
gets bigger, by the way. It doesn't shrink. If you
Yes.
share, you must always know the pie gets bigger. It doesn't mean that somebody's taking away from you. Okay, my brother.
Gavin.
So basically, in the last, say, 4 months, because my business, I rely on clients, right,
Sure.
who pay me. So that's my bread and butter. But in the last,
Sorry, okay. Hi, can you, yes, okay,
Yes.
I'm on. So in the last, I was busy saying, for those who didn't hear me, that I rely on clients and
Sure.
they pay me in my business, right? But I've got an issue with rude people. So in the last... Rude people,
Oh.
yeah. So
They owe you some money. I'm sure that's why they're rude. Yeah.
So basically, I'm suspecting that I might be too impulsive, but in the last 4 months, I've terminated 2 clients who is like, okay, my accountant is very upset with that because that's less money coming into the business. But my question is, how do you handle and decide whether a person has crossed the line? And have you had any experience with difficult customers?
That's a good one.
I think, obviously, there's a lot of factors that you're not sharing that gets you to that point. Listen, I've been in business long enough. I've been in business over 21 years. I've seen a lot of different permutations of different things. But you need to be able to understand that business is not emotional. I also tell people that business is also not an opportunity for people to come and play in your company. I do not give credit to family, and I do not want to employ somebody I cannot fire. I've employed a lot of family that I will fire, and they know, don't you worry, and I fired a few. If you don't work hard, don't think that here we're playing. And the ones that are difficult, and I know they're going to be able to make it difficult for me, I refuse to hire. And I will tell the people, I appreciate you as a cousin, but I think let's just leave it there because you are a handful and I don't want you in my business because we're not going to be cousins at the end of the day. So you need to be able to draw the line. When people you're in a business relationship with people, people always, unfortunately, because of maybe the client is big, maybe it's one of people straddle the lines. You can't be chommy with the clients. You
Yes,
understand?
yes.
You keep the professionalism because in there is the opportunity for the person to think they can be rude to you. In there is an opportunity when the person owes you some money and you need your bills to be paid. They come in with stories and then they start to call you names, but you owe me the money. I gave you the service. Do you understand what I'm saying? So don't sleep when it comes to being professional. Just always keep your socks up and always come from a position of, I'm providing a service. It doesn't matter even if it's friends of yours and you've known them and they are in procurement somewhere, doesn't matter. We're doing a business deal. I'm providing a service. You tell me if my service is good and I'll be as good as only my last good service to you. And that's how you need to be able to treat it. And if you do that, you will continuously improve on the service you gave the people the day before. Because you want to what? You want to keep them. You can't relax and say, the people know me. It doesn't work that way. And in there, the lines get straddled, and that's why people can say some words. And after some time, when people owe you, there's other people that can help you to get the money. They write some hush letters, and you can get paid, and you can keep your doors open. So don't sit there and hana. Nobody wins when you're in that situation.
Last question.
Last question from the lady in the gold necklace.
Evening, everyone in the room.
Hi.
And evening to our lovely lady, Johanna. So my name
What
is...
about me? No, I'm kidding. Go ahead.
So my name is Mitera Sibanda, and I'm currently studying a BSc in property at Wits.
Nice.
But I'm passionate about business, and I was blessed enough to be funded by Alan Gray.
Good.
So my question is, I'm currently running a startup, and I have a question in terms, you probably ran a startup at a point in time when your business was starting, and
Sure.
when is the right time to start pitching to big clients? You know, because sometimes I think it can stick in you that you're just a startup, but when is the right time to say, you know what, I'm confident enough, and I think I want to now swim in the deep waters?
I think, I've always said you need to be able to ensure that you have the right matrix within your business to service the big clients. So you need to start with a small client, see if you can be able to deliver the service, you have the right staff to deliver the service, and you are able to deliver the service, invoice the people, get paid, make sure that you capture that properly. You have to check the whole value chain. And once you can do that, it's not written in the stars when you can go, I went straight for the jugular. I mean, I'd been pitching and the doors were saying no. But when the first one came, it was a big fish. But what happened? We were ready. And let me
Yes.
tell you, when you are ready, because you always have to pitch from a position of strength. And you have to make people, you don't beg for business, or you're not shy that the people must please help you. It's not that kind of party.
No,
You need to
yeah.
be able to say, I am here, I am offering a service, your business will be safe with me, I will be there in the next 8 months if you knocked on my door. You understand what I'm saying? Because people don't want to be able to risk all of their resources and their money on you, and you don't feel safe to be able to handle that, and you don't give the confidence that you're going to be around 6 months from now. So always come from a position of strength. And startups, I say, fake it till you make it, guys. Let me tell you, nothing is as good as that. And don't worry, the more you practice, the more you will be and the more you are.
Amazing. Wow. That was
Thank
good.
you.
We're actually about to wrap up. And I know you've won a lot of awards, and you've been given a lot of accolades. Of everything that you have achieved, what do you still value most in your life? What is that one thing that you can point and say, out of everything, all the successes, all the achievement, this for me is success? What
My
is that?
family, my kids. I think that's the best thing I ever got out of life. I mean, it's difficult for women these days to even conceive because we're so busy, right? And the
Yeah.
body is not resting. No, I'm
Yes,
telling you
true,
now.
yeah.
So I think my kids, my husband, my family is everything, because I think in spite of my hard work and the big business I run, I'm able to keep them.
Oh, wow.
And
Amazing.
my kids will tell you I'm a rock star mom.
Aw, that is cute. And lastly, what advice do you have for anyone who perhaps want to follow your footsteps, or somebody who's just, struggling to get into entrepreneurship, or still scratching their heads as to, can I get into entrepreneurship, but is it safe? What about all the challenges that these people are facing? What advice do you have for that particular person?
I'm glad you asked me that. I've always said, if you can think it, you can do it. God is not a fool that he puts a great idea into your head and you cannot be able to fulfill it, And always guard against asking your immediate scheme, you know what I'm saying? Your people.
Yes.
Horebona,
Your
I've got this
squad, yeah.
idea, what? Because it doesn't come from a bad place, but they will always measure you according to their own ability, not
Yes.
what you are capable of. You understand that? So always remember that. And if you have a burning idea that's keeping you awake at night, that is your gift. I mean, can you imagine the Mike Zuckerbergs of the world, the Steve Jobs? If people told them, no, but nobody, what is a computer? You think that thing can talk outside itself? You know what I'm saying? And somebody shot it down and they never did it. We'd never be where we are today. And
Yes.
if indeed somebody says, nobody has ever done that, you're on to a breakthrough. So you go out, you make it happen. But secondly, you must be patient. Business takes time to be able to germinate. You must persevere. The hard work is always at the center. Hard work never stops, by the way. Don't you worry. I wish Linda, at some point I thought, after 10 years, hopefully I'll be sitting by the beach enjoying cocktails. Go be that girl. I'm still working hard. But, and the challenges are different. But you build something out of nothing. That should be your gift. That should be what makes you proud. That you can create great jobs for wonderful South Africans. And the focus should not be on money. I've spoken to so many young people say, Johanna, so how do I make my first million? I say, if anybody could know how to make a first million, how many of you know there wouldn't be anybody in the streets, right?
Yes.
We'll all be multimillionaires.
Yes.
But it's not that simple. So you need to be able to understand what is your passion, what is your God-given talent, and go in there and harness it and do it better than everybody else. The suitcase follows later, but it is about what makes you or ignites your passion.
Absolutely,
That
yeah.
will be the differentiator. And passion, by the way, when there's no money, is what's going to wake you up the next morning to go and do the same thing. And a lot of successful entrepreneurs around the world, this is what they would tell you. Passion and hard work is everything when it comes to an entrepreneur.
Amazing.
Thank you.
Before we let you go,
Yes.
what's next for you? What should we look up to?
What's next for me? Obviously, we're working on an African expansion. We already have 9 partners up in Africa. You know, Africa is where the growth is at, so I'm looking to expand our African footprint. As I said, you know, people do business with people they like. My overseas friends are trying to pull me into some new things, so the goal is not resting just yet. So exciting things are coming, but I say as long as you enjoy what you're doing, because ultimately, you know, we don't work to live. You know what I'm saying? You need to be able to live, and the work needs to provide you an ability to be able to live your best life.
Yes,
I think that's what it's about.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate it, and I hope. Did you guys have a good time, though? Yes. Are you sure? Okay, thank you so much for joining us. I really appreciate it, and I wish you all the best. I mean, with your business, your family, everything, all the best. Yeah.
That is so nice. I wish you guys the best. You must not tire. You must go out.
Please.
SMMEs is where the employment in South Africa is going to come from. So you guys must just continue doing what you're doing and know that there's always success at the end of the tunnel. As they say, Rome wasn't built in a day, right?
Absolutely, yes. Oh, thank you so much.
You
Before
are welcome.
we let her go,
I'm going to do a selfie. Hello, you're my people.